There are some stories that will always make your skin crawl. Imagine being abducted and being held captive in a windowless room under strict surveillance and instructions. This was the case of Jasmine, Hannah, and Jonathan in the psychological series Dear Child. Dear Child is a 6-part German psychological series on Netflix. This series, which have left its viewers anticipating the revelation, has left many wondering if this series is based on true events. The answer is no. This series is purely fiction and based on the book of the same name by Romy Hausmann. Although the creators of this series did well in minimizing the trauma this series can give to its audience, there was a lot left to the imagination, making your skin crawl. So I would say trigger warning here. Opens with a woman and 2 kids. They're confined in a windowless room, and when a mysterious man opens the door from outside, they open their palms and show their fingernails. Next, it's dark and a woman is run over by a car, and she was accompanied by a little girl in the ambulance. Who is this woman? A couple received a call from a detective that they might have found a certain Lena. Lena happens to be this couple's daughter, who has been missing for 13 years. They raced to the hospital to confirm if this person was indeed their lost daughter. On the arrival at the hospital, the woman on the table, although blonde and bears a mark on her palm identical to Lena's, she's not Lena. The parents were distraught again, but soon they saw the little girl that accompanied this said Lena, Hannah. Side note, Hannah, this little girl, she's kind of mysterious because we can hear her thoughts, and she keeps reminding herself how much of a big girl she is, how she did everything right, and how she remembers everything. Now, Hannah looks exactly like the missing Lena when she was much younger. But this woman on the table says she's Lena, so how does she have Lena's daughter? Soon, it is clear to us that this woman and child pair are actually victims. The woman on the table eventually reveals her name, that she's actually Jasmine Grass and not Lena. This revelation took everything in her because she hears the voice of this mysterious man that they refer to as Papa. The voice of Papa is the mysterious person who has kept this Jasmine and Hannah and Jonathan on lock. He did not only keep them on lock, he also kept them under a tight schedule, telling them that they had to follow the rules. Investigation went into full sway to hopefully find Lena, find Jonathan, and find the man responsible for locking these people up for years. Who is Papa? Papa is Lars. Lars is the owner of a security company. Lars kidnapped Lena because she had a resemblance to his mother, who had abandoned him and made his grandfather and grandmother cater for him. Lena was pregnant when he kidnapped her, but the second child, Jonathan, was his, and they had another child together, Sarah. When Lena gave birth to Sarah, she developed a postnatal fever, and a child too died from health complications. After Lena's death, Lars began to kidnap random women to fill in Lena's spot. They were made to dress alike and tell vivid stories just like the original Lena. This is the reason why they all bear the name Lena. How does this all end? The final episode had me shifting in my seat. Although Jasmine is now living alone with tight surveillance to protect her, Lars still managed to get into the system and was watching her through his cameras. Traumatized Jasmine and Hannah are willing to return to their abductor. But first, Jasmine is caught hiding a knife up her sleeve by Lars. Soon, Hannah was able to escape her grandparents' house so she can return to her Papa, and Jasmine also escaped her house. When they finally got to meet Lars in this van he was hiding away in, he revealed to them that he was going to take them to their new home and they were going to come back for Jonathan. Jonathan is a boy and he was still in this home for kids at the time. Remember, Jasmine was caught hiding a knife up her sleeve. Lars allowed her to keep this knife until she said she needed to pee. He knew her plans already, so he failed her plans by taking away the knife from her. However, he had no idea that Jasmine had actually hidden a backup shard of glass in her pad. When she bent to pee, she pretended to pass out, and when Lars ran to help her up, she lodged the glass on his neck, and as she repeatedly lodged this glass on, she continued to scream that she's not Lena. This scene to me signified Jasmine taking back her freedom, and it was my favorite. I know this is a work of fiction, but you cannot help but root for the characters and wish them well. The detective, who happens to be a family friend of Lena's, quit his job after this case was solved. And Jonathan lived in a home for kids and Hannah as well. Lena's parents went to therapy and Jasmine lived on her own. I'll rate this series a solid 3. Let me know if you've seen the series and how you would rate it as well.